This is why we need more than one type of demographic pre-screening and reviewing movies. Long story short, the managing director of a website wrote a pretty tone-deaf and insensitive review of Turning Red. Keep in mind he was a white man, which is not a dig, it's just a fact. And his criticisms, funnily enough, were about how he didn't see enough of himself in it. That the film catered too much to the community of the director, who is Chinese Canadian. He said, quote, "I am not in it. This was exhausting. And let me tell you, if I was exhausted by every single film that didn't involve someone like me, I would never enjoy anything." So for someone like me who didn't have a lot of options when it came to representation, I just focused on the things I could relate to rather than the things I couldn't. And I guess that's not a skill that a lot of people have to learn, especially when the majority of media is about people like them. I'm not Chinese Canadian, I'm Puerto Rican and grew up in the States. And while I can't relate to being Chinese Canadian, I can relate to being a 13-year-old girl and mortified by puberty. And while I can't relate to Chinese culture, I can appreciate it, and learn about it, and expand my understanding of groups that are not my own. That's how I wrote my review. Shameless self-promotion. And that's not to say that you have to think that every film made by a person of color is perfect. But saying that something isn't for me, therefore I don't like it, is kind of a weird criticism, especially when your job is reviewing movies. I'm not a fish, and I can still relate to Finding Nemo. I can still understand the significance of things that aren't necessarily about me. I mean, I kinda had to growing up. Directors, writers, artists often pull from their own experiences. How many movies and books and TV series have you seen based on the experiences of white men? How many biopics and based on a true story narratives have won awards? How is this any different? How is it any different coming from an Asian woman? It's not. It's the same concept. And if this is going to be your criticism, it has to be your criticism across the board. Anyways, I've tagged AAPI creators below. Go watch them.